Growing weary of running from room to room, practicing one-tooth insurance-driven dentistry? Then stay tuned for the latest episode of The Lionhearted, where Dr. Stephen Rasner will hand you the blueprint for what many call the gold standard of general practice dentistry.
Hi everyone, it's Dr. Steve Rasner, and welcome back to The Lionhearted. And I have to tell you, welcome back takes on a literal tone tonight because I've been gone. The last several podcasts that you've been listening to, and by the way, I don't know if you're supposed to say these things during your own podcast, were made weeks ago because my schedule has been out of its mind. I've been lecturing. It's the spring of 2019. It's late April, and I've been lecturing quite extensively all over the United States. So I know I had a couple podcasts on creating a nucleus. And recently I've been fine-tuning several lectures that I'm going to be giving later this year. And in doing that, I came up with some clarity, even for myself, on what I've been trying to communicate. So I'm going to share that with you tonight. And so why do you create a giant practice nucleus? Because I believe that there's basically for all of us tell me I'm not wrong, or tell me I'm wrong, three types of patients that we have in our practice. You have the active patient, and that's the patient that comes in every 6 months or even every 3 or 4 months per your recommendations, that just goes with your program. They do everything you tell them to do, and we all know we don't have many of them. We may have some that are like that for the first week in practice till now, wherever you're at in your career. I do. I don't have a ton of them. But that's one makeup of your patient nucleus. The next one are patients that aren't there yet, meaning they may come in to see you not every 6 months. They'll miss a year sometimes. Sometimes they'll miss 2 years. They may not have had any sophisticated dentistry that you've recommended. They may even have untreated periapical pathology. They may have semi-treated periodontal problems. They may have multiple missing teeth and ugly anterior aesthetics. But from time to time, they have partaken in a smaller treatment plan that you've recommended. But that's another probably serious portion of a lot of our practices. And then there's the third component. And the third component are those that you think left you. And maybe they did leave you. They could have been great patients before, but that's how fickle this profession can be. But maybe now their husband or wife's insurance changed, and they're going to leave you and people will leave you for that. It's very depressing at times, but that's the truth. But it makes that special day for you, like today for me, when I had a patient return that I had not seen in 20 years. And if you go on Facebook under Stephen L. Rasner on April the 25th or 6th, whatever date this is, you'll see I posted a picture of this patient's work that I did 31 years ago. And it looks amazing. There's recession. It's crown and bridge, significant crown and bridge, probably 20 units of it. It's not drop dead gorgeous. It's porcelain fused to metal. And there's definitely clear recession, but there's not a millimeter of bone that's been lost. Her tissue is, she has gingivitis a little bit, but the margins look pretty damn good on all that restorative that was done many, many years ago. And certainly today, I think we've had a lot of advancements that I could have done it even better. But you'll get patients like that pop out of the sky. Well, they pop out of that nucleus I'm talking about. And so the big nucleus is not one type of patient. There are active patients. There are inactive patients that you think have left you but haven't. And then there's some in the middle that kind of come in and out. And you want them to say to you, and you want to hear from them what I hear often. And that is, you're the best dentist I ever went to. And I had a guy tell me that today, another returning patient. No kidding, these are coming to my mind as we're speaking right now. And I did extensive work on him too, 25 years ago. And he came in and he was missing number 8. And he had it restored with a flipper. And quite honestly, he wanted my price to do an implant. And I gave him a price, and I even gave him a break. And he had to, quote unquote, think about it because he had a better price down south. True story. And look, I'm not going to get into the philosophy today of what I really think about that. Does it make me mad? Absolutely makes me mad. Oh my gosh, it does. But that's not the point of this podcast. I'm trying to share with you the realism of our lives. I have the same life you do, very much professionally. So you want all 3 of these. And the most powerful, and so let me just say one more thing. Some of these patients that are in this nucleus might not be anything other than ambassadors of goodwill of you that just aren't ready yet for comprehensive care. Let me say that again. A good portion of your nucleus that you're developing, and I'm going to show you tonight how to develop, may not be anything other than just ambassadors of goodwill that just aren't ready yet, for whatever reasons, for comprehensive care. And so I have to say to you, you can't buy enough of goodwill. And I'm going to teach you tonight how to get that goodwill, whether they are active with you or not active with you. And it's not complicated. And I don't think I've done this before. So one of the most powerful aspects of creating a large nucleus is retaining to some degree the patients that come to you. You know, whether they're on board from the beginning and, oh my gosh, you see them every 6 months, and then eventually, you know, they grow old and you see their kids every 6 months, and that's just a beautiful story. Or they are part of the other divisions of patients I just described to you. So let's get to some principles of, well, then how do you create this great nucleus? What should be your cornerstone approach or philosophy to your patients? And I'll say this. To me, trust and confidence coming from your organization trumps price, convenience, your hours, your location, how much you market, everything. So if the general theme over and over again, so that's where all your energy should be, is that people trust you and they are confident in you. And you know where that comes from. Trust you comes from, you got to earn trust. And I'm going to be specific here in just a second. Confidence comes from your work working, whether it's a 2-surface composite filling or a denture or a complicated implant case working. And that comes from a lifetime investment that you need to make in CE. I was down at Mike Pico's in Tampa, Florida just last week. And Mike takes 150 hours a year of CE. And he's 68 years old and one of the foremost leaders of implantology in the world. So everybody I know that's achieved high levels of success in dentistry has made a lifetime commitment to CE. And I mean, I don't know how you could even not argue that, want to argue that. It's where your head should be. I'm going to come right out and tell you, I want to plug a couple courses that I think are worthwhile that are given in my office in New Jersey. This June the 28th, I have John Suzuki. Those of you that don't know John, Google him. He's a world-renowned periodontist that has been on the staffs of many, many esteemed universities. He is the head of the FDA for dental products. And he's lecturing in my office on soft tissue grafting on teeth and implants. And it's hands-on. So there'll be specimens there. All my classes are very small, under 15 people. And it's a, great opportunity to be in intimate quarters with your friends, high-end, I do everything. Great food and a great learning experience. So that's, and you can find all these, by the way, at the Rasner Institute. So just Google that and you'll find these courses. That one, again, is June 28th. On July 19th and 20th, I am hosting from Germany the brilliant, skyrocketing oral surgeon, Frank Zastro. If you don't know who he is, go on Facebook and look up Real Bone Builders. And Frank will teach you, and I've taken his course before, how to use 100% autogenous bone in site development for your implants. And he's just an amazing surgeon. And he gives a 2-day hands-on that I took in Miami a year ago. And I was so impressed that I decided to host him in my office this year on July 19th and 20th. So if anybody in the United States or abroad want to make a trip down to New Jersey, go to my website, the Rasner Institute. And lastly, my course, my last atraumatic extraction and site development course will be given on October the 4th and 5th, again in New Jersey. Now that is a live hands-on course where you are working on patients, even with out-of-state licensing. I'll say it again. You are actually working on the other two courses. You're working on specimens, either pigs or sheep heads. But in my course, October the 4th and 5th of this year, 2019, it is live patient care for 2 days. I have an agreement with the state of New Jersey. As long as you're licensed in your state and have an active malpractice carrier, you can participate. And we customize this course for you. You tell me what you want to learn, from complicated extractions to all kinds of bone grafting, right up to implants if you've had some type of training that I approve. So that again is on October the 4th and 5th. So there's my plugs. I haven't done that too much, so you can't hold that against me. So, trust and confidence starts with believability. I'm giving a lecture tomorrow, Friday, in Winnipeg, Canada. And in that, there'll be a slide of one of my cars that I just got a bill for from somebody for $7,000. It's a foreign car. I don't really drive it that much. It didn't have a car accident. I just got in it one day and it didn't work right. So I had somebody take it to the car dealer, and the price was $7,000, $7,000 something. And I was so taken back because I really don't drive it that much. A week later, take it to another mechanic. And guess what? I ended up paying over $7,000 to have it fixed. But whatever the second organization did, it felt more believable. It's true. And I know that happens in my practice. Did that ever happen to you? Because it's happened to me. Where somebody comes in, absolutely it's happened to me, dozens and dozens of times. They came into me for a second opinion because they got a cost estimate somewhere else. And many times my estimate is more than the estimate they were objecting to. And yet they went with me. So there's a lot that goes into, besides just the price, of being believable. So the flow of trust starts with first contact Then that goes to delivering their. So think about this for a minute. How do they trust you? Where does the trust come in? Well, it begins with the very first contact, which I'm going to go back to in a minute. Then it goes to delivering their care. So they engage you to have something done, whether it's 4 fillings or whether it's 2 crowns and some scaling root planing, or a very extensive case. And then after that, the follow-up that occurs. So that is the flow of trust. First contact, delivering their care, and then the follow-up. Now, the first contact is all the stuff from the time they first heard about you. So the very first time they ever hear of you is in your branding or your marketing. So that can be word of mouth. That can be, in my case, specific marketing that ranges from radio. I actually may have a radio ad that you can hear. Yes, you're going to even hear it right now. So this is my radio, one of many radio ads that I run 4 times a day. Note what the subject's about.
Hi everyone, this is Dr. Steve Rasner. This message is for those of you listening right now that share the common problem of dental fear. My practice, conveniently located 30 seconds off of exit 32A of Route 55 in Vineland, right next to Bennigan's, has been designed to take care of you, that patient with the bad dental experience. Everything from the comfy chairs, to a Walt Disney clean environment, to a team that's been with me for 25 years. You won't need anyone, just your ears and eyes to convince you that you have found your last dentist. So if you need a simple checkup or a new smile, this I'll guarantee you. You'll be confident I'm your guy in 60 seconds. I won't sell you or convince you of anything you don't want. What I will do is provide you with the simplest solution to whatever your needs demand. All the while, you'll feel confidence and trust that Dr. Rasner, who is recognized internationally for his expertise, is now your personal dentist. Call us at 856-692-1370. That's 856.
So even though that ad was designed around fear, which, if you go back to my earlier podcast when I talk about oral sedation, you will remember that I told you it's the only thing I think you can really market consistently with great effectiveness. And that's an example of it right there. But even though it's about fear, I'm always talking about trust. Did you notice that I said in there that I won't talk to you into anything and try to sell you something you don't want? Because that's the absolute truth. I don't do that. And I'm going to be specific about that in this podcast and the next one. If you looked at my hard copy advertisements, they begin with saying something like this: send someone you care about to someone you trust. And so they're hearing people, which is probably the biggest thing, because that's the best word of mouth. They're hearing radio ads, and they're seeing the concept of trust and confidence. So I do have to say, I combine a brand of oral sedation and with feeling confident that they can trust us and in our work. What I'll do is end this podcast here. I know you're not going to get the next one till next week, but I'm going to do the next one right now. And I will tell you specifically what needs to happen from the point they then call you and walk into your office to the point that you're done. Thanks for listening. I hope to keep doing this. Remember, email me at drrasner at AOL. And if you check out the Rasner Institute, please do so. And check out the 3 courses, John Suzuki, Frank Zastro, and my own course on October 4th and 5th. Last several, they're all been sold out, but right now we do have some openings for this fall. Don't need a license in New Jersey to learn hands-on atraumatic extractions, oral sedation, everything. It's a pretty amazing course. Thanks for listening. See you next week.